You know what I hear so often in my coaching? I was doing great all day and then boom, stress hit. And before I knew it, I was in a drive-thru ordering everything but the napkins. Well, today I'm going to share something powerful that I found really helps my clients break that cycle of emotional eating. I call it winning the space, that critical moment between when life throws something at you and how you choose to respond. A famous Viktor Frankl quote, between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Let me share a real example from one of my clients. She's a nurse who recently wrote in her ABC journal. The A of the ABC is the antecedent, what started it off. And the event name that she listed was stressed after work. So the antecedent was stressed after work. Instead of focusing on all the good things that happened during my day at work, I focused on the bad thing, beating myself up as not as great a nurse as I once was. B, her belief of the ABC was I felt comforted by eating something yummy from Chick-fil-A. And the C of the ABC, the consequence, was this. I didn't eat healthy the rest of the day because I settled my craving and buried my feelings of not being perfect at work. Who on some level hasn't been there and done that, right? Life events are going to keep coming. There is no stopping them. But what matters most when they do is what happens in that crucial split second between the trigger and your response. There are three parts to this you need to know to have the rest of this make sense. In these situations, there is one, the trigger or stimulus, whatever you want to call it, trigger, stimulus, or if you're really into cognitive behavioral therapy, where that ABC comes from, you might call it the antecedent. Number two, the space. So you've got the trigger or stimulus. That's one. Two, the second part is the space. And the third part is the response. You with me? Trigger, space, response. Let me do it this way. Trigger, space, response. For many people, it's just trigger response. There's no space at all. Just trigger response. One word, no space. No space to make the better choice. The trigger happens and boom, you're responding before you even realize it. What we need is to create a trigger space response, where that space gives you the power to choose. So how do we create that space? Well, to help my real world clients manage life in this crazy world, I focus on 6 pillars. Pillar 1, nutrition. Pillar 2, physical activity. Pillar 3, emotional fitness. Pillar 4, willpower. Pillar 5, triggers management. And Pillar 6, engaging support. Each pillar has many layers, but for this piece, I want to focus mostly on pillars 5 and 3. Triggers management, that's pillar 5, and emotional fitness, which is pillar 3. Triggers management has 3 main components. 1, identify your triggers. 2, prepare and plan ahead, because it's best if you can armor up ahead of time, right? And most triggers happen again and again. And 3, develop non-food coping mechanisms, the alternatives you'll use both in the space and also for your response. For the nurse client I mentioned, one clear trigger is stress after work. But triggers can be anything: people, places, events, emotions, holidays, weekends, even times of day. For my nurse client, she needs a plan for those after work moments when her inner critic goes on a rampage. She needs something that's immediately available, easy to implement, and effective at pattern disruption. This could be a 5-minute walk, playing her favorite uplifting song, or what I call emotional journaling instead of emotional eating. Let's talk about pillar 3 for a minute, emotional fitness, how this can play into helping. Here's the thing, even with a plan, you need the emotional bandwidth to execute it. This is where pillar 3 comes in. Again, emotional fitness. Think of emotional fitness like a battery. When it's fully charged, you have the energy to see the space, pause in it, and make a better choice. When it's drained, which happens to all of us sometimes, that space can disappear. For transformation success, we need to build our baseline emotional fitness through self-care. We need to put ourselves on our to-do list, practice healthy selfishness, recognize when our battery is getting low, and have quick recharge strategies on the ready. The most successful clients I've coached over 25 years don't usually have fewer triggers. but they do have a strong why. Their emotional fitness has grown so they can win more of those spaces, and they have a good triggers management plan. This is all, I don't know, sounding like a bunch of gobbledygook. It's really not. It's optimizing your mindset and skills to manage the craziness and realities of what it means to be living in 2025 and beyond. And be there no mistake, these are skills. That means they can be learned with constant improvement. They aren't traits. You're not stuck with them like you would a trait like eye color. And remember, for this piece, I'm talking about what? Winning the space. What space? The space between the stimulus and the response. Stimulus, space, response. Stimulus, space, response. Over here. I'm not exaggerating when I say those who become really skilled, but still far from perfect at winning the space between stimulus and response, they're the ones who are going to take their body, health, weight, and fitness any place they desire. So here are 5 strategies that can help you win the space between the trigger and response. Strategy 1, the pause button. When triggered, take one deep breath and say to yourself, I see you, name the trigger. I see you, give it a name. I see you, trigger. Just naming it creates that initial space. Strategy 2, the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself you can have whatever it is craving, but only after a 5-minute waiting period. During those 5 minutes, do something else. Anything that breaks the pattern. Distract yourself. Distance yourself from what could sabotage progress and delay by 5 minutes. Strategy 3, the why power check. This is from pillar 4 of my 6 pillars. Come up with a really short mantra, something you can say to yourself in the moment of decision, something that embodies why you started your journey to better health. Something really short, some things like strong for my kids, freedom over food, energy greater than excuses, breathe, then choose, me over this moment, future me wins, peace, not pizza. Strategy 4, environment management. I realize this will not always be possible, but let me say this and then explain a bit. The people best at willpower are those who expose themselves the least to needing it. What this means is do what you can, when you can, to control your environment when possible. Repeated demands requiring heroic willpower are eventually going to lead to caving. Strategy 5, the non-food joy list. Create a list of 5 to 10 things that bring you some level of joy or comfort that have nothing to do with food. When triggered, go to this list instead of the fridge. Things like text or call a friend, go for a walk, especially outside in the sun, take a bath or shower, go for a drive, text your coach, anything requiring clean hands. It's hard to eat sticky, ooey gooey junk food if you need clean hands, right? Journal, and don't judge yourself and don't censor yourself if you journal. Just write. Let me circle back to something important in my client's journal. She mentioned not being perfect at work and feeling like not the great nurse I once was. This perfectionism is a trigger factory. At LLU, we strive for exceptional, not perfect. Exceptional allows room for being human, for error and correction. Perfectionism is an illusion that creates misery. Let me wrap this up with something I want you to remember. What has been doesn't have to be what will be for you. What has been doesn't have to be what will be for you. Your history doesn't dictate what your future will be. Today, right now, in this very moment, this moment that is now past, a new history for you has been recorded. Every time you win the space between stimulus and response, when you see the space, pause in it, even for just a few seconds, then make the better choice your future self will thank you for. You have created a new record in your personal history. You can win more spaces. You can go from trigger response to trigger, pause, better decision, response. It takes practice, but I've seen so many clients master this skill. And by master, I don't mean perfect. I mean the practice of making the better choice in the space happens exceptionally, often enough to ultimately win the destination, to achieve the goal and live there for life. Start small. Identify your triggers. Believe it or not, you don't have 100 triggers. You don't. You probably have 3 to 5. but they're on repeat, so it can seem like there are a lot more. Pick one trigger you face regularly and apply some of these strategies. Even just apply one, apply something, just start. Give it a try. Create that space, even if it's tiny at first. The space will grow with practice. Remember, you're not failing at transformation. You're learning transformation. Every time you create even a millisecond of space between trigger and response, you're building a skill that will serve you for life. If you found this helpful, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out lluniversity.com for more resources on my 6-pillar system for not only winning those spaces, but achieving the body, fitness, and health you so deserve. I'd also love to hear in your comments. What do you think? What's your most challenging trigger? And which strategy are you going to try first? Until next time, stay strong, go long.